Um, I was really hoping you'd bail first there.
No.
You know, I think Claire and Matt find each other or are found by each other at a time in their lives where they probably don't realize that they need each other more than they realize that they do, and I think they're very similar souls. I think they become very important to each other in ways that they could never have anticipated, and the emotions that flow within their dynamic are very confused and very conflicted. I think it's a very interesting dynamic and also sexy at times.
Mm-hmm. I think it's very confronting. You know, these two people, you know, who have a lot of the same values. You know, wanting to help people and who feel a compulsion to do what they can when they can. But you know, that's what makes Daredevil so fascinating. You know, with that whole tagline, you know, justice is blind. You know, and do you turn a blind eye to certain things, including how far heroes push it to achieve justice? You know, I think they confront each other quite a lot on what they think and what they're doing and how they're doing it, and because they see each other and they're sharing, you know, this secret together. So, you know, in the very beginning, they're the only ones who are really able to communicate what is actually happening. You know, like the mask actually that is coming off, you know, from that he wears during the day, and the mask that then goes on that is really fully representative of who he is. Like, she gets to see that, and he trusts her, but they don't trust each other. They don't know each other yet, and so I think that they're at each other, and they're confronted by each other, and they're moved by each other, and it's all happening in very real time. You know, the exact idea of there's nothing to anticipate because they don't have the time to do it. It's very present, just kind of very reactive, and I think some really remarkable things. You know, you get to know a lot about a person's character under that kind of pressure, and they're lucky. I think they recognize that they're lucky that they found each other, especially during this moment in each other's journey.
So, you know, I often say that, you know, the physical aspect of filmmaking is one of my favorite parts, and I you know, I relish the opportunity to throw myself in the deep end and do as much of it as I'm allowed to do and capable of doing. With this show, that ended up being quite a lot because obviously there's very little CGI. All of the stunt work is in-camera action, so it's stuff that a human being can do. The stunt coordinator Phil Silvera and my stunt double Chris Brewster were an amazing pair, and what they came up with and some of the stuff they were doing was so brilliant that I was not capable of doing it. You know, I learned the sequences in small pieces, 6 to 10 moves at a time, and shot all of the action sequences in small sections so that I could get them all done. And I don't know how much they ended up using of me, but I imagine I'm in there a fair amount, and I loved every minute of it. I really enjoy that stuff.
I would say that's always for me, like you know, when I've gotten to, you know, today your work is you got to dance. Today you're doing this fight, which is also a dance. You know, it's you're like, you kind of pinch yourself. You're like, really? Because I love, you know, there's beautiful moments that are explored in conversation throughout, you know, for these characters, and they're going through quite a lot. So there's a lot that's there, and so the dramatic part of it and the humor and the relationships, all of that feels very real and developed and awesome. But to also have that physical part of it is just really great. You know, you're really tussling with your character and getting in there, and it makes you, you know, when you're feeling a little achy, like all of those experiences you bring back then to the next day and kind of go, so if this really happened, you know, and I think that's incredibly grounding. You know, you're working with folks who can do, it's not like, you know, going to be taken off someplace and someone's going to do a bunch of CGI and make it look really cool, and you're going to look at it later and go, okay, how can I formulate that to work into the character I created? It's like, no, you're watching someone fight and get tired and like do all these different things, and it's like Cirque du Soleil stuff. Like, you get that you're amazed by what people can do.
Yeah.
Like what a human body, and like when you are dedicated and you're trained and you're focused, what you're capable of doing, and that awe that you're getting on a regular basis watching this take happen over and over again is what keeps you back into that story. And if that translates at all to the viewer in the way that it's been translating to us, it's going to be an exceptional experience for people, and not like something you get to see every day. And that's what makes this really special event, television, which is cool. She's, Claire's really fun to play. She's got attitude, and she's got a, very strong particular personality. She's funny, she's very clear about what it is she's doing in her world and how she helps. And, I think she's very confronted by this person who challenges her perception of what it means to help and how to help, and the risks that you take, and how far you can really take what you're capable of doing to really graduate to another level. And I think she's brought into a world where she realizes she maybe could do more, and so she's as much as she might want to say no, and this is really scary and really risky, she knows that she can help. She knows that he needs her, and that's her calling. So I think she feels an automatic sympathy with someone that normally she might have a different experience of, but being in it, in the thick of it, really challenges that, and that to me is really fun. It's not about just going in, I'm going to play someone, she's strong, she's never scared, or she's always has the right thing to say or do. No, she's scared, she's nervous, she's taking a big risk, but she's bold. She's present, she's available, and she's going to participate. She's going to get in there, and that's what makes her really interesting to me, is that she's courageous. Not that she's brave, that she's not scared, or that she's just super strong. I think she's quite fallible. What I like about her is that she's still courageous in the face of that, and that's what you can only hope to play. And I think for male or female, you want to have characters like that have that kind of level of complexity to them. To be a part of the Marvel Universe is exceptional. It's something I've dreamed of and wanted to do for a really, really long time. So to get that opportunity and be a part of the Marvel family is remarkable. And it does feel like when you get through it, it's a christening. Like there's an experience now that I feel like I can relate to for my friends who've been a part of that universe before and what they've done. Like it's very particular, and it's amazing. It's to be able to graduate it and be playing with the Marvel Universe, changing things, changing certain characters, being able to know that we get to, kind of play with these sacred texts that I grew up on, and that it's going to be fulfilling for people, because we are doing PG-16, and it's like, which I love so much, that we can take it to that level, and because it's on Netflix, we can really go and explore it in this way that feels true to the material, and not like we're just trying to cater it to one audience. Like this is something for a lot of people, and I think that's really exciting, because it's funny and it's great, and it's it's dark and it's gritty, and it's colorful, and it's got all that stuff that's going to draw a young person in comics and graphic novels and all that kind of stuff. But for the older fans and people who've lived with these characters for a really long time, they're going to be able to explore this world in depth and with respect and love and time. That's really fun, that you can't always just squish into a movie. Long form storytelling like this is what we get in the comics, when you get to really live with these characters, and the fact that we get to do that and explore it in such an amazing way, I love it.
Yeah, and that's a really good point in terms of the Netflix of it all. Like, this is making a Marvel show on Netflix. It's as close to how comic books were released as you get with a Marvel superhero. The thing that I love as well about Netflix is that because because what they're trying to do as a company is they're trying to have many different shows that appeal to everyone, rather than lots of shows where each show appeals to everyone. We don't need to make a show that appeals to the widest range of people. We just need to hit specifics, and I think our show feels very specific, and in terms of what that means is it appeals to a slightly older audience, which we've talked a lot about. It works really well for Daredevil, because it's very close to a lot of the great source material, the comics, the graphic novels that were from the early 2000s and 1998 and etc. Great writers and illustrators of the character Daredevil and the comics Daredevil. So it just feels like the ideal platform for this character, and it also feels like it's a pioneering in the Marvel Netflix collaboration is the next evolution in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. in a perfect world, this is what our great hope is that this show will appeal to audiences who aren't necessarily fans of Marvel or superhero fans. It feels to me like I really think that I'm cautiously optimistic that the fans are going to be really pleased with this show. I think it's really exciting and new and gritty and dark and different, and it ticks so many of the boxes that you want a superhero show to tick. But at the same time, it's sophisticated enough that the writing is that it feels like it's more like a crime drama with a superhero element like peppered on top. You know what I mean? So it survives not because of the superhero element. It survives despite it, if you know what I mean. It's almost like it's an added bonus. And so I guess really what I'm saying is that there is a chance that people who have never felt compelled to watch a superhero movie or read a comic could love this show and feel incredibly engaged and compelled by it.
Mm-hmm. I love that. No, I think that's really beautiful. You know, for me thinking about it, it's like, you know, we're in the different sort of way of consuming entertainment, you know, and so, you know, it's funny that we had that whole thing for so long, and it's like, okay, after it has to be a couple seconds, or you have to make a really quick movie. Everything's got to be fast. You got to get to the entertainment and the action really fast. And instead, we're going, no, let's actually take our time. Let's take our time with the origin story. Let's take our time with these characters meeting each other. Let's take our time even developing the costume. All these different things that we normally have to rush through because we're grounding this in reality, and so they'd go back and forth and go, this works better than that, and like let's take that time. And so I love that we get that binge movie, you know, we get that binge sort of watching that you get on Netflix, and you can sit there and watch all 13 episodes, or you can pepper it out. You know, you can do that. I used to do that with comics. I'd wait and get like a bunch of comics in a row so that I just get one once a week or whatever, and then have to wait and be like, the cliffhanger used to kill me, so I'd wait, you know, and get like stacks of comics from my friends or my family and just read the whole thing through, or wait for the graphic novel to come out. So you get to like, people get to play with this and consume it in the way that they want to. But when you're doing it in that way, and you're doing it to this level, and the way we film this and the care that we've taken with it, you're getting basically a 13-hour movie of Daredevil. Like that's the level that it's taken to, and that's just remarkable. You know, instead of going, let's rush through this, it's actually go like, let's take our time and give you the movie. Let's give you the show that you want to experience, and that to me feels really special. You know, it's you know, I'm joining the Marvel Universe. I've never really done television before, but this caught me because this makes sense. As a fan, this makes sense, and I'm cautiously optimistic as well, but I really feel like the fans are going to really love it, but everyone else is going to have an opportunity to fall in love with what I like about hero stories, because it is so grounded, it is so real. You're going to feel compelled. You're going to look and go, oh my God, am I the person who wouldn't even call 911 if I heard someone screaming? Or am I the person to run in? Or am I the person to run away and pretend I didn't hear? Like, who am I in that situation? You're not going to be able to not ask yourself those questions when you're watching this, and that's really cool.